is about to get underway. The Boston Knight Riders and the Austin Outlaws.
We got brooms down starters on the field. Got the ready call? And we are off. Pushing it. We got Teddy Costa trying to get there. He does not. Austin with the quaffle and with bludger control.
Martin Bermuda is going to be the pseudo keeper in this situation, as Marino was out there for the speed advantage at the keeper role, and bludger control lies with the Outlaws. Jackson going to sub out really quickly after the two male beaters set. Cole Travis, the lone beater for the Outlaws, in the front pitch. Now Marino going to get it back to Bermuda as he's got a defender on him, but not close enough to complete a tackle. So
that, I believe, is because of the bludger situation. If a beater's right there, if you're right up against that, right up man marking real tight, you're just going to get beat out instantly, and you're going to have to run back.
As soon as you make contact, you'll typically just get hit in the back because you can't defend yourself versus the bludger. So.
Exactly. Oh, and Teddy with a swipe, but he's going to get called from behind. That looked to be all ball.
I mean, it seemed like Bermudez had his hand extended out, and then the swat came, which would be legal, but apparently they're about to call over the shoulder on this one.
Which is interesting because over the shoulder is not illegal in and of itself. It's about the neck contact. May have called tripping. We will see what we can do as far as information on that.
Beaters are down. Martin Bermudez with the score on the mid-hoop. Bludger control has been exchanged. The Boston Knight Riders have it on the way up.
Jake Archibald walking up the quaffle. Teddy Costa, with Austin having scored, is back in the play.
And Teddy Costa's been making his presence felt all over the pitch. Had a lot of good shots and a lot of missed ones that were just outside to score a couple of goals in game number 1.
We'll see if his arm is going to be more accurate in this game right here.
Forced outside.
Juking back and forth. No beaters there. And it is good! Teddy Costa ties it up 1-1.
And on that play, you saw him get forced outside by a little arm that pushes him to the outside. Cut back in. Bermudez had him initially if he had just kept tracking to the outside, but he said, oh, no. Right down the middle's fine.
Yeah. And with 3 hoops, right down the middle is where you want to be as a chaser if you're going for that
left,
dunk.
Right or middle, making it as difficult as possible for the defenders. Bermudez, once again, most of the quaffle carrying duties here, and it seems like the beaters for the Boston Knight Riders working their way up the pitch.
Leanne Dillman attempting to make a beat, misses.
And look at this spacing between Simone and Augie over here. That's a pretty sizable pass, and once again, Costa right there. So that pass near impossible. Taken out of the play, essentially because Costa's right up on him, and of course the beater pressure.
Teddy likes to keep it tight on his man, so that way he knows that if there's a pass coming in his way, he has the best opportunity to pick it out of the air.
Or you know, he lets him catch and then he tackles him down because he's a fan of hitting people. So Augie with the shakes there for a second.
Beater play happening, allows for passes to go through. Mario Nasta with a beat. Jake Archibald tips the shot and will be able to recover the rebound.
And Jake Archibald did a great job of waiting until the last possible second to break on that ball. He saw Bermudez, who's always a threat to score, standing right in front of the short hoop, and as soon as he saw that pass go up because of the beat thrown on him, he cut towards it and tipped it away, let himself run it out on that one. Good move.
Jake Archibald is very good at knowing just how far he can make it before the ball gets there. Teddy Costa trying to juke back and forth, gets hit in mid-jump, passes it to Jake Archibald. Jake back to Teddy. Teddy walking up behind Mario Nasta with a bludger, giving himself a little bit of a security blanket there with his beater right in front of him.
And Brian Mulcahy kind of ran a route in front of the hoops over there. One to distract the beaters, also to attract the attention of Augie Monroe, the keeper, and possibly get a pass. Beaters are on the chasers, very hesitant. Oh, they called beat.
They're going to call that as a turnover due to delay to release the ball.
Quaffle will go to the Austin Outlaws.
Which it is a standard call. He could not hear the call from the referees.
Yeah, he didn't just play through it. He stopped and he was like, "Wait, what's going on?" and dropped it. So.
Sometimes when you get beat in the back, you can't feel that bludger. It is an understandable thing to happen.
The cup sitting over here to our left-hand side, nice and shiny. I wonder if the guy who's named after is here. They told me he was going to be.
I wonder if Alex Benepe is here. Alex Benepe, one of the co-founders of Quidditch, back up at Middlebury College in 2005.
And I can safely say he's the guy. He's the reason that I actually play Quidditch, because I watched Mudbloods last year, and then I was like, hey, I want to play this game. And he's a big part of why Mudbloods was successful.
Yes. Oh, and Grace tapping the ball out. Jake Archibald with the recovery, but there is an Austin beater in the path. Pass to Mulcahy. Mulcahy with the shot, and it is good. Boston leading for the first time this series, 2-1.
And Marsden shouldering up Masta on that last play. Also, as that play was going on, it was in transition. What really sealed it up as a guaranteed goal is when Cole Travis got beat by Masta on his forearm. He had to drop the bludger, and there was no chance for a chaser to get on him. So great move on that one. Once again, Masta with the masterful beating.
Nasta with the masterful beating. And it is also showing that at this elite level, beaters and chasers have to work together. It is a seamless game that gives you the win. If you try to individualize the beaters on their own, the chasers doing their own thing, it'll completely fall apart.
Hero ball.
Does not work in this league.
Yeah, it's not a fantasy tournament here, ladies and gentlemen.
As much as some will say that these are dream teams, this is not a fantasy.
And new keeper into the game. It's going to be Salinas on the right. I'm sorry, new chaser into the game. Augie trying to split a group tackle. Will get away from it, but got stripped as the pressure was released on the quaffle, and he threw it up in the air. And
Jake Archibald with the dive.
Yeah, the dive. He's like, yeah, no, the turtle action, always a good choice.
Always a good choice, and again, Jake Archibald showing what he's able to do. He has a huge spring in his step when he chooses to jump, able to go from the center hoop and dive to block the hoop on either side.
Right.
Passing to Teddy Cosa, who makes a move, cuts to the hoops, pass to Harry Greenhouse, who will spin and try to go, but it is no good. Passes it down back to Teddy. And it is again no good, blocked and picked up by Augie, who is outside of his zone when he picked it up, thus has no immunity inside his keeper zone. Teddy beat, allowing Augie to get back up and bring up the ball.
Augie with the tape on his right hand, just noticing that, actually.
Also, looks like he hurt his thumb.
On that one.
Great defense and great offensive rebounds as well. Everyone playing with their quick reflexes.
Teddy, unstoppable here. Just not, like we mentioned before, that's what happened in game number 1. Great opportunities, just not finishing.
And a pass and goal for Austin. And Jake Archibald looking for a quick transition, looking to catch people on their heels, cutting back and forth. Beat number 17 on Austin, beat number 11 on Austin. And it is good for Jake Archibald, tying it up 2-2.
As soon as Salinas got beat, Salinas was matching up perfectly with what...
Oh, sorry, correction. 30-20. I spoke before the scoreboard was updated. I got too excited there. Forgive me, everybody.
30-20. Boston Knight Riders leading on that one. And once again, sometimes when you're a keeper, you got to have that instinct to know when the scramble is going on and when you can take advantage of it. And Archibald doing a great job of reading it. And Salinas getting beat, locked that one up for him. Great shot from him.
Leanne Dillman creating a path for Jake Archibald, which led to the score. Give the assist to the beater on that one.
Nice move by the Outlaws.
Beat before the shot, no good, but the rebound will be confirmed good. No, head ref is waving it off, saying it was a late shot after beat, thus giving the turnover to the Boston Knight Riders. Score remains 30-20.
And the battle continues, going behind the hoops for the Boston Knight Riders. Look like it's
Ian Skura.
There you go.
Ian Skura, if he scores, you'll hear a song, the Empire's theme, from the bench of the Boston Knight Riders.
He's got a song?
It has been noted that he looks like young Anakin Skywalker.
Ah, that's not a good look, man. Anakin.
Hence the dark side
what
theme.
he eventually becomes.
Yeah. Harry Greenhouse getting stripped mid-pass. Tyler Trudeau will recover it.
And
Tyler Trudeau looking to spin, pass it to Skura, and it is good! And we wait to hear.
They are definitely doing it. I like it. I like it a lot. I approve.
You could tell the energy from the Boston Knight Riders is very different this game. And I think that has led to them playing with even more intensity.
Nasta with another catch, but it will be for naught. He beat Augie. And another run. Tyler Trudeau trying to get a run going, but he'll be met.
He'll be met mid-pitch.
By Luke on that one, and he'll run away.
And there is no beater. Tyler Trudeau taking it to train, and it is stuffed. Harry Greenhouse passing it back to Skura.
With the hoop down, the Boston Knight Riders going to have to score this one, and Becca DuPont with the INT on that one. Tyler Trudeau had the right idea, had the great hustle, just could not get it through the hoop.
That's what happens when you have 3 bodies in between you and the hoop. Eventually, one's going to block the path.
Yeah, like you said, 3 guys. That's how many it took him to take him down. Yeah. I kind of want Skura to score again. I want to hear that.
It is always fun. We got Augie Monroe bringing the quaffle up. As Austin looks to make a beater play for control. Molly Linsing trying to... Oh, they missed the beat on Max Haviland. Max beats one beater. Gonna pressure up as the Austin beater is out of the play for a significant period of time. Molly's now back.
Yep. Molly's waiting up on offense. Ryan's going to get himself back into this play, trying to get some havoc going.
Now, even though it might not seem like a lot of progress was made by Boston, they did use Austin's one reset. If they cross that half field line back into Boston's territory and go back again, it is a turnover.
There's two bludgers down. All three were down just a couple of seconds ago. A behind-the-back no-look throw by Augie Monroe over to Arian. He's swimming around the perimeter here. He takes a shot, and it lands short. Once again, that contact affecting his arm and his angle on that one. But the Austin Outlaws able to recover. Martin Bermudez waiting for Augie to get back in this play. Molly's got a bludger as well. Control lies with the Outlaws.
Ian Skur being beat by Molly. Lulu recovering Molly's ball, beating both beaters. And now Boston with control. Max Haviland trying to cause havoc. That looked like it bounced off the player and beat. No harm anyway as Tyler recovers the missed pass and will go to Train. Passing it to Ian Skura, who has no chasers in his path. Ian turn and scores. Score is 50-30 Boston.
By the way, if you missed game one, prior to snitch on pitch, the Knight Riders had 30 points to their name. They now have 50. We're at the 10-minute mark. Molly Linsing besting Haviland on that one. Bermudez. Bermudez get to Simone. Simone going around the perimeter. He's got a beater behind him, but Becca's right there. She's got a catch. Can't hold on to it. Attempted kick between the legs on that one. Almost got away with it. Tried to get it to Simone. Didn't finish it.
And it's picked up by Tyler Beckman, who passes it to Tyler Trudeau.
Right.
The TNT connection working on defense.
TNT connection.
Tyler Trudeau passing it to Beckman. Lulu Zoo clearing out the Austin beater.
De La Fuente going to go.
Both beaters from Austin are down. Will Trudeau be able to capitalize on this? Passes it to Beckman. Beckman cutting around the front, gets tackled, but mid-tackle is able to pass it off to Trudeau. Trudeau gets stripped, and it will be a test of hustle.
He's got bludger protection. He's got three chasers in front. He's got a pass to Bermudez. Would have liked to see him draw contact, didn't make that pass.
Would have taken one of the Boston defenders out of that play.
But once again, Simone on that play got the tackle, got up immediately, looked around, saw the quaffle right next to him and said, hey, I'll take that.
Notice that the hand was outstretched and you are able, even if it's from behind, to strip that ball.
Right.
Ian Skura fighting with a pick to stay on his man. Goes for a wrap. It is able to be fought out. Tyler Trudeau sliding into making that recovery.
Really wasn't looking for a card on that one, just worried about Becca's legs. She got it caught in between Trudeau's on that one. Glad she didn't get rolled up. That's always real painful.
And it is good for Tyler Beckman. Boston up 60-30. A pull here by Austin would tie the game and send it into overtime. I mentioned that even though we are only 13 minutes in. And a stoppage of play. And it looks like a timeout by Austin.
Is that time? That is a timeout. The Knight Riders will head over to their bench, elated and pumped up. The Austin Outlaws trying to calm it down, because it seems like when the scrambles are happening, one, we've seen 3 different times. Tyler Trudeau did it one time. Tyler Trudeau did it twice. On the runs, on the quaffle being extended out past the keeper zone, just scooped it up and said, hey man, I'll take a chaser on chaser matchup every single time, while the beaters get caught up in the beater game over there trying to gain control. And while that's going on, once again, that goes back to timing, awareness from the keepers, and it seems like the Boston Knight Riders are really syncing up with each other a lot better. And though the shooting efficiency isn't where they want it to be, they're getting more shots on goal because they're making even better opportunities for themselves.
They're making better opportunities. They are recovering the loose balls better this game. They have stepped up their hustle. It is the side effect of having your back against the wall with nothing left to lose. You are able to leave it all out on the line, and you can only look at this game.
And on top of that, the Knight Riders, when it comes to the defensive rotation, they're they're aware of when to hang back. Like the point chaser may be up on where the quaffle carrier is, but they're hanging back on defense, anticipating the pass. For instance, we saw Tyler Trudeau rotate over to where Becca DuPont was before the quaffle even got there, wrapped her up, and actually dropped that quaffle, was able to scoop that one up and get possession back to the Boston Knight Riders. Their intensity on defense is picking up, and for the Outlaws, the passing still very efficient and remaining the same, and it's what's really keeping them into this one because they're in a scoring drought at this point.
They are in a lead right now of 3 goals, and Tyler Beckman, who scored that last goal for Boston, subbing out for Teddy Costa, number 00, as Augie Monroe approaches that midline. He crosses it. He now is able to cross back once. And interesting thing to note, Austin has almost always used their resets on their scoring drives. Augie Monroe making me eat my words as he takes that to the hole himself, scoring for Austin, score of 60-40.
Marsden got beat. Cole Travis was able to get the Bludgers far away enough from the play to open up an opportunity. And Stu with the miss at the hoop. And that looks like it was going to be Luke who scooped it up after Stu dove on top of him, and they came up with the score.
A block just in time by Austin.
Cole Travis with the bludger. Whenever the beater pair of he and Amanda Marsden come up with one, she's the one inside to wreak havoc. She got a clean catch, and now there's no bludgers active on this play. Augie's getting caught up in the keeper zone trying to get the quaffle loose, takes the shot, no, makes it a pass, gets away from Luke, a good tackle behind the hoops, but he spins away from it, or maybe not. That spin was a little violent. Typically you see that when you change somebody's shoulder direction, but I thought maybe, it's a beater penalty, which is going to be huge.
Beater penalty on Lulu Zoo because of the goal will not serve any time. We will see if we can get details on what that call is.
Still slightly confused because it did happen away from the quaffle play.
Shows
Looks like the quaffle is up for grabs as well. Oh, no, it's going to be given to the Boston Knight Riders.
That's because of the goal. They have to restart quaffle play with the formerly defending keeper. Jake Archibald now crossing mid-pitch. And the call on Lulu was a slide tackle.
That's always interesting. Making contact, trying to get the bludger away from an outlaw, assuming Archibald with the pass
to Grace Dastos, and it is caught.
The miss, and that might be, was Augie's hand on her shoulder when she released is the question.
Because she spun and hit her face. Her face is hurt. She needs a sub for being injured. It looks like her nose may be bleeding based on where her hand is. Hopefully she is not hurt, because she is a wonderful talent for the Boston Knight Riders, is Grace Dastos. Coming in is Emily Hickmott.
Archibald going to talk to the refs over here,
informing them of probably first and foremost of the need for an injury substitution. Normally during a stoppage you cannot sub, but if there's an injury, we want to keep everybody safe, a sub is allowed.
And like we said before, Grace had a hand on her shoulder, spun around, looked like she had a guaranteed goal there. Augie was just trying to get a piece in some way, shape, or form, hoping it was going to be the shooting arm, but it was not.
Augie, due to the stoppage of play being with him out of the keeper zone, has to go back to his keeper zone when play is restarted, which it is now. As he looks to come down due to no beaters in play, and misses the goal. And Teddy Costa with the dive, recovers on defense, gives it to Jake Archibald to stop the offensive push from Austin.
Augie Monroe, a guy who's constantly like a magician in the sense that he's always trying to use misdirection, running towards the far left hoop, shooting at the mid one, because he knows that you have to stay honest until he releases that quaffle, and by then it's typically too late. That's a rare miss from Augie Monroe.
Here's a question for you. Does Augie Monroe, is he able to shoot on the hoop he is looking at, or is he only able to shoot where he's not looking?
There's a beater for the League City Legends. His name is Pickett, Kyle Pickett, or Ryan Pickett, depending on the day. He does not look at who he beats. Looks away. It's very deceptive.
And Austin Outlaws with a goal. Score is 70-60. Jake Archibald picking it up, and we will restart play.
And that timeout coming in huge here. Seems like the shift in what the Outlaws have been able to do since that timeout happened, down to a 1-goal lead.
And you see Grace Dastos is back in play. with some wadding up of her nostrils, so she was bleeding from the nose. Teddy goes for a shot. It does not connect as it is blocked by the Austin keeper.
And Teddy uses some textbook formation on throwing in the air, jumped up, squared up, turned around. Release just missed it because the defender was right there. Jackson out there.
Tying up Mario Nasta, giving him some good physicality, distracting him as he cannot focus on the quaffle with Jackson right in front of him.
And
Goes to beat.
Both of them. One of the rare occasions where Nasta's been beat by Jackson here today. So.
And causing Austin to reset is Leanne Dillman's pressure as Mario Nasta looks to recover a bludgeon and get back into play.
And Josh Andrews is going to tap up the hoops and be back into the field of play as well. Arian's on his way up the pitch. Going to cross. Nasta gets handed the bludger to Jackson. And now...
And Jake sliding him down. And it looks like they're going to call that on Jake Archibald, even though he hit him from the side, and that's the slide down. Jake will argue that.
Because that definitely looked like Gasto just had too much lean.
Yeah.
He was coming around the corner. Very much like a defensive end when they're trying to get around the offensive lineman. You got to have that lean, and that's what's going to gives him the speed advantage. Came around using that size, and like you said, Archibald's just going to be the victim of that play in the sense that it looked like something far more egregious than it actually was.
But because of that, Austin will get the ball right at the hoops. He's so close. I wonder if he could just reach his arm through before the whistle's even blown.
Or for the fans.
I believe that is Arian.
Or, for the fans, jump through the hoops.
He will send it the other way, forcing the Boston Knight Riders to run after the quaffle.
That's an outlaw classic there, making sure they get a chance to get back on defense. You'll see Augie, even when he is on fast breaks, if he gets the quaffle behind the hoops, he'll make sure to go to the front side, finish on that side, especially if there's no beaters around. So once again, it comes with awareness, which comes from experience and skill and talent. So.
And Boston taking their timeout, as we now will see if the momentum will shift again with the timeout being called. Score is 70 all.
Is this the first match they've called both timeouts?
Not this tournament, no.
Not this, okay.
No,
sure.
Yesterday, actually, in that second game of the Boston versus San Francisco Argonauts, both timeouts were used. First Boston, that's when the momentum shifted. San Francisco calling a timeout. We're not able to come back, though.
Right. The Argonauts, after that game was over, kicking themselves. They felt like once that timeout was called, once again, momentum shift. They were tied up 60s. Yeah. Yeah, San Francisco, once again, the Leo pointing out, they had 14 people. And I think they only had 2 male beaters or something like that. Or was that I think that was Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City only had 2 male beaters this entire tournament. But the Argonauts, they used some crafty scheming to win their game versus the New Orleans Curse. They used the Baylor zone defense at one point.
Yes, they did.
And when Snitch came on pitch, that's when they dominated. They were able to slow the game down significantly. They made people play their game. And then when they played against the Boston Knight Riders, it seemed like for a short time, they were able to do that.
For a short time they were. And then Boston has always used their timeouts all season very effectively to regroup, address what adjustments need to be made immediately, then what will go through the rest of the game. Let's see if that can be done here.
My thing is, if at the very least, call the timeout at 18:59 and give your guys a rest for a minute or so, and then just continue playing. A minute actually can mean quite a bit to some players out there, especially if you're not used to this environment, not used to these conditions. We're talking about not just heat. It's hot everywhere during the summer. The humidity is what makes League City a deadly environment for a lot of these players.
Harry Greenhouse slowly bringing the quaffle up. Tyler Trudeau subbing in at keeper. Passes it to Julia Bear.
Bear with the receiver behind the hoops over there.
This is the line that put Boston on that scoring run that gave them the lead. Let's see if they can put them back on the right path to victory in this game.
And you can see defensively the point of emphasis is preventing Greenhouse from touching the quaffle. As the Arians out there, because he was beat, he was able to. But the defensive effort against Greenhouse is going to be paramount to the success of the Austin Outlaws on this possession.
Boston playing slow and smart, trying to be effective.
Waiting for Greenhouse to turn around, and it's going to be
and it's a bad pass that gives Marino the chance to score. But
Now the Outlaws subbing out as the Night Riders are going to be on the approach here, and Sam Hamowitz is going to come into this game, and Martin Bermudez going to come with him. So Marino might be, yes he will, he'll be winger defense over here. Not on Greenhouse, surprisingly enough. Bermudez, let's see what they go with here on the defensive line. Marino's lining up to defend Tyler Trudeau. Yeah, I'm just saying, you say you want the bigger guy. I saw Martin Bermudez stop Tyler in front of the hoops earlier just off pure leverage. Good, smart move. And there's
picked off again as the beaters are distracted. And a pass and goal. Austin now up to 90-70 at 19 minutes. The Snitch will still win the game for either team and decide the fate of Boston's championship streak.
Oh no, we've got ourselves some drama here. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching Quidditch for the first time, there's nothing like seeing somebody come up with a clean snitch catch for a win. No matter what side it is. In this case, it'll be a killer one, that's for sure.
Often accompanied by at least 2 minutes of ref's discussion just to confirm that it is a clean catch.
So that they don't get too much hate.
Oh, and Jackson Johnson picking up the bludger with one hand, but it doesn't matter as Tyler Trudeau scores, putting the score at 90-80. But there's a stoppage on the play.
Martin Bermudez saying he's got one more play in him,
but it looks like there will be a blue card handed out as the head referee is looking for the cards. As we have a stoppage here, you can see the Seekers talking to Gabe, who is the snitch for this game. Gabe, one of, if not the best snitches in Quidditch.
Okay, so here's the stat now. There have been 6 games in MLQ this season that have gone the full 40 minutes. 5 of them have been with Gabe as the snitch.
Not just that. Gabe this weekend alone, yesterday, snitched 4 games. 3 of them went to the time limit ending of the game. The snitch is able to win in Quidditch if that snitch's name is Gabe. Seekers are released.
Twice, by the way. One was during the League City, Kansas City series, and the other one was yesterday. I forgot what series it was, but we're probably going to be here for 40 minutes.
As the beaters will be crucial for this game. Harry Greenhouse turtling off to the side, dealing with the keeper.
And a rare case of Terry Greenhouse being picked up by Hamowitz and thrown backwards. Once again, that aggression from Hamowitz. When you see him run to the hoops, he has it. Exchange of beaters.
Mario Nasta choosing to not beat the beater, but beat the Seeker, as the Seeker can end the game and beaters cannot.
Right. Beaters can't score either, except that one time. During the Kansas City, League City matchup, Bludger knocked the quaffle through the hoops. So...
Stu taking advantage of beaters looking to pass between each other to try to get it, and a stoppage of play.
You see anything on that one?
I did not.
And if you're wondering why Gabe's walking the crop top, it's because everybody ripped it yesterday. So.
You think that he wears that shirt to snitch?
He's got multiple shirts. Every time I've seen him snitch, he usually loses the shirt that he comes with. So it gets ripped because people are trying to, by any means necessary,
grab that tail.
Yes. And Gabe, so when you're talking about Stu and his strength and what he uses, and oh man, ladies and gentlemen, the Indianapolis intensity seemed to have just eliminated the LA Guardians. So, wow.
We know one team that will be in the finals. Yeah. Indianapolis will be in the finals.
I was going to say, with Stu's strength, you talked about how he uses that when it goes against other snitches. How do you think that's going to match up with Gabe?
This is actually Stu's first time going up against Gabe. They have, both of them, a very similar build in terms of strength and power. I have been very curious and excited to see this matchup happen. Stu looking to come in hot, fighting. Both Seekers getting a clean look without beaters. Beaters coming in, beating Stu. Now Mario coming in, looking to, Mario gets beat. The Austin Seeker will get a look.
And
Leanne looking to try and get that third bludger. The snitch Gabe kicking it away unintentionally as Harry Greenhouse comes in to see. Dodging the first bludger, dodges the second bludger, both through his legs.
De La Fuente out there beating for the Austin Outlaws, and you can see Gabe.
And Harry Greenhouse is beat. Austin leads by 1 as Beckman looks to drive. as you can tell, all beaters are out of the quaffle game right now, as Snitch will win. Harry Greenhouse coming back in for the seeker play. It's Jake with the quaffle.
Archibald trying to get away from Bermudez, and he's got
and there's going to be a call of from behind, reinitiating, and the pull will be no good, as it was done after the whistle was blown. Either way, due to the foul on Austin, if the pull was made, the pull would be called no good. You cannot pull the snitch if your team causes a foul, even if it's not related to the snitch play.
Right, because teams will intentionally cause the foul prior to the situation and allow that situation to occur. So,
and we have 3 of the 4 beaters and all 3 bludgers right in front of us as the Austin beater comes in, and Mario looks to try and get involved and beat out the Austin seeker.
If you didn't see it on camera, Archibald had the big hoop that he dunked on wrapped around his shoulder, and he just threw it off. So, and Greenhouse coming in.
And Gabe is down. He will get a 3-second reset time.
His right foot was tripped up when he took his back step, but Gabe trying to get away from Greenhouse, who just got beat on the glute right there. And Ryan Naraki trying to fight for bludgeon control. And
as Mario will try to make a beat, and he is off broom.
Pass behind the hoops, and a score for the Outlaws, a two-handed dunk, 2 hands for safety.
That brings the score to 190 in favor of Austin. Stitch still decides the fate of Boston here.
Greenhouse hit on the shin there. Gonna go back, tap up the hoops.
And probably sub. Teddy Costa slowly bringing the ball up.
And Stu back to work here. Josh
and
Andrews.
A stoppage of play. Leanne Dillman so excited to get the ball back when play starts.
It's the little things. It's the little things that make you happy.
I believe that is one of the rules of surviving the zombie apocalypse. Got to appreciate the little things.
Got to appreciate the little things. Oh, by the way, Josh Andrews, the current seeker in for the Austin Outlaws. Wouldn't be surprised if he pulled here. He pulled for the victory for Texas Cavalry to win the USQ National Championship. So he's very familiar in these big games.
He's very familiar with these big games and the high-pressure situation.
He's also... Yeah.
Well, the curious thing is that Gabe is not taking advantage in this game of being able to move, even though he can. He is standing behind Dillman, so Dillman will either have to miss or hesitate to give Austin an opportunity here.
And if you're wondering about Gabe's background, he played high school football, so he has a pretty good understanding of physical leverage in terms of keeping the I feel like it should be written on every snitch, like down the back of it, butts out.
Yeah.
You always keep your hips out so that nobody can really engage you. You always keep your heads on the swivel. There's a seeker in front of you, but that's not the only seeker out there. A lot of snitches will get confused with that. They feel like if they got somebody in front of them, they're winning the battle, when in actuality they're just helping the other team with their seeker. So.
And Leanne makes that beat as Boston scores, tidying it up 100-100. Stu Driftflop back in, coming around, trying to dodge the speeders, is unsuccessful. Leanne covering the snitch.
And you can tell Gabe respecting Stu on that play, knowing that he's a guy that he's got.
Both beaters beat. And the Austin seeker, Andrews, will get an opportunity here all alone as all beaters are on their own. Leanne claiming immunity. Austin scores, bring it up 11-10.
And Josh Andrews trying
Boston recovering control, sorry.
No, sorry. Josh Andrews trying to get enough speed so that he can get just a little bit closer on that back pedal from Gabe out there, because if he continues to back up, the snitch is just getting further and further away, and his leap won't have as much of an effect because, one, he can't identify where the snitch is.
Boston misses a goal here. Trudeau picks it up, gets beat. Augie Monroe with the recovery.
And don't know if they're going to stop play for it, but Gabe has been cut on his back here.
He has been cut a few times. Jake Archibald subbing into Seek. He gets beat. 26 from Austin gets beat as Austin scores. 12-10. Austin up 20. One more goal unanswered from Austin. Oh, Jake almost with the pull.
A diving one. That would have been dramatic if there ever was a term for it. And once again, Austin trying to get in on this one, almost backing up right into the camera as Gabe is trying to keep eyes on 2 really tall
Jake
seekers.
with the pull before he fell. Oh, they're calling it down before the pull was completed.
But Jake with the right idea letting the opposing seeker engage Gabe, and then using his long arm length to get around. And on top of that, that's pretty good accuracy for a guy who's in the air, can't really tell necessarily until the last second where the actual snitch is, and then pulling it
now
without dropping.
So the ruling here is that Gabe hit the ground before the tail was completely removed. If Jake was able to remove it before Gabe hit the ground, it would still be a good pull. But Jake now knows he can do it.
Yes.
Jake knows that he can catch Gabe by doing that move. Will he go for it again? I imagine so.
And once again, with Jake on the dive there, the situation would have been totally different if he actually did get it before he fell down, which, you know, you can argue either way. If he had lifted it up before Gabe's butt hit the ground, it would have been a totally different story. It would have been irrefutable.
At the other end of the pitch, Tyler Trudeau, it looks like getting a penalty for a push from behind, thus having to switch keeper and chaser headbands.
And snitch on pitch is already rough on the chasers to begin with, but snitch on pitch down a chaser is even tougher.
Which allows Austin to score. Now a pull will send it to overtime, will not give Boston the win here. So Boston needs to score and then pull the snitch.
Right, and the score allows Trudeau, he subbed out, I believe it is, correct? Trudeau subbed out, new keeper into the, oh, he's out there at the chaser position, sorry.
Jake Archibald getting beat after slipping.
That's Salinas out there seeking for the Austin Outlaws. He'll dodge a beat.
But Max throwing it hard, forcing
Ryan to go fetch that one.
And now a pull will win as Harry Greenhouse comes back in, subbing for Jake Archibald for the Boston Knight Riders. Boston with bludgeon control and Harry Greenhouse in. No beaters for for Austin.
And a good sweep. Terry Greenhouse pulled off broom on that one. He's going to go tap up the hoops real quick as his team does have bludgeon control. So Ryan Naraki trying to engage one beater to get Salinas some time. Havlin already aware of where to go. He did
holding him off without having to throw.
Yeah.
Max now beating off Salinas. Did I say that name right?
Yes, Salinas, yes.
Salinas,
yes. And now it looks like they got Marino out there at the keeper position. He's actually going to save what could have been an errant possession. And De La Fuente is going to scoop up the loose bludger. And they're going to get it to, oh, there you go, Luke with the spin move.
And a pull again will tie instead of win. Max Havlin looking to maintain control.
Yeah.
Both beat.
As TJ Golding and some of the reserve players for the Austin Outlaws.
Oh, Harry going for the slide, just misses. Boston, for the first time this tournament, in a dual male beater set.
Oh, wow, Cole with the beat on the back of Greenhouse there after getting beat. Once again, going for the seeker. You talk about elite accuracy of some of these beaters out here.
They know their targets. They are able to thread those needles and make those beats, which is why it's even all the more impressive when a beat misses. Dylan Carlson, keeper for Boston, with the ball as Stu Driftlock goes for the snitch, engaging.
And Stu
gets beat.
Stu trying to use his entire arm, not just straightening it out. And a snipe
but
actually was deflected once again by Luke on that one, and a goal for him.
Now Boston has to defend as they are down 4 goals. Again, a snitch pull only worth 3.
And this one, a do-or-die situation, a high intense situation in this one. This is what it is all about.
This is where you will see Boston force either the time draw, which will be in 12 and a half minutes, or Austin to fight through their seeker and their beaters to get the pull off of Gabe, which again is highly unlikely.
And Becca DuPont with the strip behind the hoops, Jackson with the beat. Austin will gain another offensive possession here. Costa on that last play had a good run at the hoops, but then got wrapped up in the worst position you can possibly be in a tackle. There's different chasers out there. None of them really get too nervous until you cover up their shooting arm. Until you cover up the arm where the quaffle actually is, that's when people start to get worried. But before that, there's plenty of guys out here. You've seen it from the Boston Knight Riders. You've seen it from the Austin Outlaws. Contact means nothing. Until you take me down, this tackle is not over. And even then, you can hop right back up. It's not football.
Now, I want to just jump in here and mention something that makes Gabe a high-quality snitch. and one that's highly respected. Stu Driftlot is playing a defensive seeker. He's not trying to go for the snitch, but Gabe, a lot of snitches will use that as just a blocker or let that seeker hang around. Gabe actually pulled Stu's broom away from him, forcing Stu to tag up and hit the hoops again, allowing Austin to come in for an attempt. Jake, now that a pull ties, is back in to attempt doing a second pull.
Almost on that one.
Almost there, but it sounds like we have a stoppage on the field, but no one over on this end knows about it. Now they realize.
Archibald initially cleared the hand of Gabe on that one, and that's the most important part of getting close to that snitch. He initially cleared the hand off the dive because Gabe had to tuck his elbow into his stomach to get Archibald off of her, and that allowed the opening for the Outlaw seeker for just a second, and he couldn't take advantage of it. He missed it by a couple of inches.
This is where I want to ask your opinion on a potential strategy scenario where is it better to be the first or second seeker to the snitch?
Oh, easily second seeker. It's because once he's engaged, just like when it's like you're playing, similar to when you're playing football, you've got an offensive lineman. If you have two D linemen running at him, they're usually going to succeed if their goal is to get past them. Also, when you're talking about the best possible scenario will probably be right when the bludger is on the way. To try and get that out there, because not only are you creating an opportunity for your team to get bludger control, but you're also going to get a free run at the snitch. And like you saw with Archibald, he's trying to use some really, he's not using your typical approach of a seeker in the sense he's trying to engage the hands. He's trying to use to get around. So Gabe's going to have to use a different tactic than he would against any other seeker.
And another stoppage of play. Jake was not aware that Austin had scored and made a dive. If he had pulled, that would have been an accidental suicide grab and would have knocked out Boston from the tournament. Thankfully, Gabe was able to fend him off there.
That would have been a rough end to the summer.
That would have been a rough end to the story of the Boston Knight Riders' 3 years journey to today, to this game.
Quaffle is going to go back to Augie Monroe, and Archibald is livid.
Because Archibald, also one of the more respected head referees, knows that this should not be a turnover to Augie Monroe, but the head referee's words are final, and that will be what occurs here.
And as it says in the rule book, referee's discretion.
Referee's discretion.
Augie Monroe has a chaser behind in case the Knight Riders try some funny business, even though there is snitch on pitch. And the play call for the awareness of an imposing beater fire out there. Now Stu
Driftlot trying to get in there.
The tactic has changed for the Outlaws. They're trying to go for the full extension of time here.
Well, they are still going for the pull, but they are trying to get only when they have a look alone at the pull. Otherwise, they are fine. It goes
back to what we were talking about, being the second seeker to arrive, where Archibald knocked down the hands of Gabe for a second there and then allowed him to sneak in there. So,
And 10 minutes to go in this game, game number 2 of this series. And if this score holds, will be Boston's last game of this tournament. And not only the first loss of Boston, but the first series loss. And Austin scores again. They are now up 5.
Yeah, on that one, and the Knight Riders going to have to get on their horse to get back into this game, because this is a team that we all know has the talent to go out here and win this game at any given point. It's just about catching their momentum. We saw it earlier before snitch on pitch happened, and after that timeout, they were able to go out there and they seemingly had their offense clicking at one point, but when snitch on pitch is happening and they're still struggling to score, it's got to be a little demoralizing for any team, not just the Boston Knight Riders.
And a goal for Teddy Costa closes the gap in the lead.
And Teddy Costa, no matter what happens after this game is over, is going to know that he gave his all, that he's been out there laying it out all on the line out there. Great defensive effort and great offensive effort to go along with it, making sure he can do everything to help his team win.
The entirety of the Boston Knight Riders have been giving it their all. They are putting nothing. They are leaving nothing out to chance here as best they can.
Right.
They are fighting for every possession, fighting for everything they can. It is through a series of shots going wide, tackles being done, and you saw from Austin the successful stripping attempts of bludgers and quaffles at the midpoint of this game and almost the entirety of the last game that has given them the leads here in games 1 and game 2.
And Nasta, a guy who literally was untouchable for that game one, and it still was I mean, for everything that he was doing in terms of the beater game, for some way, like you were saying, the Austin Outlaws were still finding opportunities because of their passing. Does Gabe get the Benefit Cup if he wins? No.
He might get MVP.
They got a trophy for that? It's just like you get a pat on the back. And
I think they have a plaque for MVP.
MVS.
Most valuable snitch. I like that. On Twitter, hashtag MVS.
Hashtag MVS. If the World Cup comes calling, there needs to be a group effort by the World of Quidditch to get Gabe to snitch the finals of the IQA World Cup.
Agreed. As any seeker who can catch Gabe truly earns it and deserves it.
Yeah.
Harry Greenhouse with a long pass behind the hoops to Grace Dastos. It fails to connect.
And the Boston Knight Riders tandeming up. They do get bludger control back here. So for this defensive stand, hopefully if they can get this defensive stand and maintain it for the offensive stands with snitch on pitch, that's the kind of effort, that's the kind of look you want to see on offense for a team that's down and out of snitch range as well.
Max Havlett and Leanne Dillman, two very seasoned veterans of this game, know when they should focus on the seeker and snitch and when they should focus on the quaffle. And right now they are trying to make a play.
And Havlin really good with that release of the ball. He does not want any kind of contested, because of the swatting allowed in MLQ, he does not want any contested throws.
Max very smoothly making a beat and retaining control as Stu Driftlock comes back in. And a stoppage of play down at the Boston end of the field. Looks like Harry Greenhouse took a hit, and the Austin player, number 93, Abby Simmons, with the card. Ball will go back to Harry Greenhouse. Abby Simon, sorry.
Crimson Elite, who had a really good season last year. These rosters
drawing from everywhere and anywhere that they
like
can.
You mentioned, there's a University of Texas student playing for the Boston Knight Riders.
Yes, and that is because he is spending his summer up in Boston, and that is how we determine your recruiting opportunity in MLQ.
By the way, on Havlin, that beat he just took in the back, and a cloud of sweat just came off of him, so nobody's questioning the effort.
No one ever questions the effort of Max Havlin. He is drenched almost within 2 minutes of playing.
Maximum effort.
Maximum effort for Max Havlin, and he is an Energizer bunny. He just is able to go, 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 and that is a beat on 23. Thankfully, the bludger referee was able to get it.
Teddy Costa, I think he was asking for a kick on where his hand was. He grabbed his wrist when he came up from the ground there for a second. Salinas trying to get the two-handed action going with this broom. Actually, yeah, I was going to say, when you have your broom out that far in front.
This is where a thigh gap in Quidditch hurts you.
Yeah.
You're not able to defend it,
it's
your broom from coming out.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how you can get two-handed catches if you don't have a thigh gap.
And Stu is beat.
Salinas on the attack.
As Augie Monroe walks past the snitch, asking for his beater to come in and help him out. Beater gets beat. Dillman is able to pick up the near bludger, forcing Augie to make a play without any bludger support. He looked like he was beat, but the refs are not calling it.
The crowd.
Tyler Trudeau takes him down. And Grace Dastos is hustling to pick that ball up. A lot of jostling for position, but Austin comes away with the ball.
That was, I guess, a borderline call in the situation. We were talking about a quaffle loose on the ground. Both of them dove at the same time, so it'd be a different scenario if one of them dove and the other one tripped over the top of them, impeding the path and diving at another person's legs, technically. But like you were saying, when Augie ran around the perimeter over there, he wasn't looking at his defender in front. He was trying to pay attention to the beater Max Havlin over there. He threw that. It hit something. We heard it hit something, and apparently it wasn't Augie.
Apparently it wasn't either the ball or it looked like it was Augie, but that we will trust the refs' call.
A block, according to the refs.
Dylan Carlson, number 2 for Boston, in at seeking, playing that defensive seeker role. We knew that Austin would be the team to give Boston a contested game.
Josh Andrews being instructed to sub out of the seeker role.
possibly just needs to hydrate, then we'll come back in.
Exactly. Yeah, he's gassed out there. His last effort was just reach around. He looked like he was giving Gabe a hug. And we are ticking down. Less than 4 minutes to go in this one.
As Austin subs in their female seeker.
Cool. We just been alerted. The official timer is just about 10 seconds fast. But as the game reaches its end, and a
pass is picked off by Austin as Mario looks to get the ball and forces a pass to reset.
I was going to say, as the time comes closer to an end, you will hear, or we will hear, maybe because we're a lot closer than you are wherever you are watching at home, the countdown for 1 minute, 30 seconds, and then they will count for 15 seconds.
As Gabe drags the Austin Seeker across the ground.
You talk about job security. Not worried about the Boston Knight Rider Seeker at this point.
No.
Not at all.
As Austin has bludger control, the Austin Seeker coming back in, Morgan Bertram.
Floating 50-point lead for the Austin Outlaws. The Boston Knight Riders trying to get back into this one.
There has not been a goal for a few minutes, it feels like. And it looks like if this if this timer holds out, Gabe will get his 4th game, reaching max time and flinging the Seeker around. She stays on her broom. She is still eligible, and a stoppage of play.
And the effort, and in case you're wondering, with 2 female Seekers in right now, the effort and the strategy has changed for the Boston Knight Riders. Their goal, their focus is 100% trying to get it back within snitch range. They were trying to do it while having Stu out there, but they pulled him out, sending another male chaser to allow themselves to give 110% focus on not only bludger control, but also getting this back within 30 points and maybe even taking the lead.
And Jake Archibald scores, closing the gap to 4. And they had Stu in there while the gap was 4.
Because there was still opportunity to score, get it within tying range.
And then catch it at the same time, yeah.
And now if you're the Boston Knight Riders, you obviously want to pull the tie in this game, not only because it keeps you alive, but because then you get another 5 minutes to get another goal, to pull ahead, or get a secondary pull in overtime.
And the drama continues in overtime. 1 minute Seeker floor, and the Stitch is only worth 15 points. So you got to do some math. Like, they told me there would be no math, but if you're a Seeker out there, you're like, wait a minute.
We're down 2?
Yeah,
no.
No. Augie trying to insist that he is being forced back.
Which delay of game call should be called by the referee because they are just wasting time with 1.5 minutes to go.
But if Nasta was a chaser, I can understand that. But as a beater, he's probably, and wow, Luke got beaten in the face after a drop catch there.
Unintentional kick. Augie, realizing that it should be Boston's ball, decides to play with sportsmanship, not picking it up, giving Boston the recovery.
Right.
Stu Driftlot off on the side, subbing in. Morgan Bertram, the female Seeker for Boston, coming back up to engage with Gabe.
2 chasers behind.
Teddy Costa with the ball, looking for the pass to Jewel Bear. Jules looking to spin out, is able to break the tackle. Beater coming up. Will she be able to break the tackle or get the ball out? She is not. She has to drop it and also recovers behind their hoops with less than 1 minute to go.
And game bludger control. Oh, Tyler Trudeau out there.
Tyler Trudeau wearing a yellow headband.
Okay, you say so.
It is a veteran headband itself.
And Tyler Trudeau has his headband pulled off, and he gets beat by Cole Travis, so he'll head back. I was gonna say there's got to be a story behind that, like why it doesn't look yellow. It's a very loose interpretation of the color yellow, but what is there a story behind the headband? What?
It is a headband that has seen Team USA championship wins. It is, I believe, it is Harry Greenhouse's headband that has served him throughout the years.
Unfortunately, as we come down to time, it looks like it will not be serving it. 10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Any second now, we should hear the final whistle. 15 seconds is the official's call from the scorekeeper's table. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And with that, Austin avenges the finals of last year knocks out the two-time champion Boston Knight Riders in Boston's only set of losses in 3 years. Boston ends this season 39-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, the MLQ finals are set. It's going to be the Austin Outlaws taking on the Indianapolis Intensity.
Final score of 180-140. No snitch catch. Real winner of this game is Gabe.
MVS. As Gabe, once again, coming in clutch on that one. Uncatchable is the title, that's for sure. And everybody will be waiting with bated breath. The Austin Outlaws not going to have nearly as much time as the Intensity have had to recover. Intensity have been done for almost an hour.
Well, we will get an hour break
Right.
due to neither series needing a third game. We will come back with the first game being played at 4 p.m. Due to also having an hour break built into the schedule to give teams a guaranteed time to rest. Now these teams have played right through lunchtime. It's time to go get some food.
Yes, let's do that. Food is always good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back here in just an hour or so, live from Hometown Heroes Park in Lee City, Texas.
4 o'clock is what the official time will be. That is an hour and 45 minutes. Thank you.